We perceive things differently, which means things come differently out of our mouths as well. It means that we see things and process them differently to what somebody else will be processing. Okay, so that was my reminder learning, because it's not really a learning, is it? We all know that one really. Now, the next part of the wrap up is what has happened in the podcasts. Hello and welcome. Mentoring with Geraldine is a bite-sized practitioner podcast for naturopaths, nutritionists, herbalists, and practitioners. This podcast responds directly to your needs, the needs of the practicing natural therapist. With interviews, herbal discussions, something business and something clinical each week, you'll get the variety you need and enjoy to stay motivated in practice. Hello everyone, and welcome to Mentoring with Geraldine and the Bite Size Podcast. How the devil are you? So it's got to the end of the month and I was listening to a podcast myself, as we do. We all love a good podcast, don't we? And the podcast I was listening to had a wrap up of the month's events and what to look forward to in the month ahead. And I thought, what a great idea, because what I have is available all over the place. You know, I've got the Facebook group Strictly Education and Support. I'm here on the podcast. I'm posting in other groups as well. I run Strictly Practitioners and I produce all the content in the academy as well. So I thought, well, maybe once a month it's actually a really good idea. And just to make sure you know where you can find things and what to expect, what's coming up, but also to make it a bit fun as well. So I thought I'd start with a learning and I'd end with the comments from one of the weekly posts in the group, because there's always a funny one in there. So my learning this month isn't really anything new. It's a reminder. And that reminder is that everybody sees things differently. So what's a trauma for somebody else might not be a trauma for you. What is a trauma that you see that someone else is going through might not actually be a trauma for them at all. That might be nothing in comparison to the other things that are going on in their lives. We all perceive things differently, and we have to remember that the way we perceive things is different to the way others perceive things. The way we feel things is different to the way they feel things. And when we're together, we can still be feeling things differently, even though we're watching watching a movie, for example. You might be crying and the person sitting next to you is stone cold, nothing happening, because we perceive things differently, which means things come differently out of our mouths as well. It means that we see things and process them differently to what somebody else will be processing. Okay, so that was my reminder learning, because it's not really a learning, is it? We all know that one really. Now, the next part of the wrap up is what has happened in the podcast. So in the podcast, we started out the month with the power of the share. And I don't mind repeating that here. The power of the share is truly powerful. We need to be sharing other small businesses. We need to be reminding everyone that small businesses exist and that they're here for us, and they're the reason that life is different. It's like going to a supermarket. I have a supermarket here in Adelaide called Foodland, and there's similar food. I saw one in Sydney and they're sort of got a bit of it. It's obviously owned by the same group. And so basically when you go to the tomato aisle in Woolies or Coles or Aldi or wherever it is, you only see like 2 or 3 brands of tomatoes. There's the home brand, there's another brand, and there's maybe another brand if you're lucky. Chopped tomatoes, there's 2 different chopped tomatoes. So that does actually make shopping much, much faster, but it also makes it less interesting. Whereas I go to Foodland and I've got every colour tomato under the sun, and in the canned tomatoes, I've got 7, 8 different brands of tomatoes to choose from. And so we need small business because they're like all the different brands of tomatoes. We're all different. We're all different shapes, colours, sizes, and we all cater to all of those too, to a massive variety of people. And you share something with someone, your elevator pitch, with the 80-year-old gentleman who you think he doesn't even need to know that I work with hormonal acne. He might tell his grandchild and you get a new client. So we need to share far and wide. We need to share other people's businesses far and wide, because we don't know who needs that service right now. And that means we need to leave. So personally, I leave only 5-star reviews, or I don't leave a review and I speak to the staff. Where I've got 2 4-star reviews in there, and that is because I spoke to the staff because things were dire and then they became resolved. But the simple fact was they were still dire in the first place, so they've got a 4-star review. So it'd be great if you went and gave this podcast a review. If you're still listening, then, have you reviewed me lately? Have you shared the fact that I have a podcast? Because that'd be wonderful if you did. So we started out with Power of the Share, and then of course this month has all been about the consult and how to be in the consult, how to make sure that you're getting the most out of the consult with the client. You're not spending hours in there, you're not becoming overwhelmed, and things are running smoothly. There's the scripts that go on that we need, just the lines, the seating and the lines, when I see you next time, at your next appointment, lines like that we all need to say repeatedly through our consults, because that encourages the client, I know that this is longer, it's not just one session, because we have to coach our clients. So this month has been all about coaching that client, and we had conducting confident consults. Now there is the mini bundle that you can buy between the live events, and in the mini bundle we've got that motivational interviewing, and we've got all of the information except for the study day. Now, once you've been to one study day or you've purchased one study day, you're invited to all subsequent study days. All right. But I'll just drop the Academy in there, because if you join the Academy, you get 30% off when you buy it anyway. You get 30% off everything. So it's really important that, it's not really important, it's really sensible, I should say, that's the word, really sensible, if you join the Academy ahead of purchasing any of my products. So what else has happened? Talked about reviews. We had Dawn Whitten on. Isn't she lovely? What a wonderful interview that was. I really hope you enjoy it. I got so many take homes out of that, how she's changed and still kept, doing what she wants to do after all of these years. So absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed talking with her, and really hope that you enjoy it as well. So next month we've got more people. We've got people in, but talking about this month right now, and talking about Dawn, she was episode 173, if you wanted to go back if you haven't listened yet. And then we had, after Dawn, we had Kate Pearden. So we've just had her, and she talked about the CEO within us all. And it was just because she was in HR before. So we had 2 wonderful guests in the last month, and I really hope that you've just listened to those, or you're heading back there to listen to them now. Now, what else have we got? So Strictly Education. So in Strictly Education, that's the Facebook group, the free Facebook group. And in there, this month it was, tell me you're a natural therapist without telling me you're a natural therapist. And there are some great comments on here. So I just thought I'd read out a few. When someone tells me they have a headache and I ask, did you drink enough today? What was happening before? Where was it? What makes it better or worse? And on and on and on. And I'd literally just done that an hour prior with my daughter, who was walking. I was walking with her and she said, my head really hurts. Have you drunk your water? I did the whole 9 yards. So I thought that was absolutely hilarious when she put that up. So another one, I want you to get really interested in what you eat and then how your poo looks the next day. I thought that was another goodie, another particularly naturopathic line, always talking about poo. Then another one I resonated with, I cry when people tell me they drink cola. I'm just going to say cola because I'm not allowed to say. Actually, it makes me that sad. And then there's been, I'm totally with it. And someone else says, I cry when they drink any of those drinks. I won't mention them, although they're written here, of any kind, because we know how bad they are for every part of the body, from the teeth all the way through. Clean your car with it. Don't drink that stuff. Another one, dinner conversation. Have you done the Candida spit test before? I thought that was a classic. Although I haven't done that one at the dinner table. I must think about adding that one at the dinner table. So, yeah, another one. Can I have a look at your tongue, please? So there's a lot on here. The Wednesday posts are always a lot of fun to see what everybody's written. And now, finally, in the Academy, or not finally, because we've still got what's happening next month, but next up is what's in the Academy. So we started out with programs in practice in May, and then each week there's an activity to get us up and running. There's all sorts of things happening, and everybody in there is about to receive, or maybe they've just received, the Trello board with 12 months of ideas and captions and everything that they can do towards this to support their social media. There's all the training for promoting our program and getting it out to the world, or our opt-in. Not everybody's ready to create a program, and that's totally understandable. But, many people are ready to create that opt-in. They are ready to increase their audience base, and that's what all of this is about. And that's still going on for another month. It's a very slow burn before we start moving into our year ahead. We don't normally have weekly things in the Academy. This is rare, and I'm just going to see how it goes, because people are in the Academy are seeing clients generally. We've got lots of people in there who are students or newly qualified, because it's all about getting out to the world. There's so much content in there. Initially, people are like, oh, what do I do? Where do I start? Because there is a lot of info in there. So go in, have a look, join us. It's brilliant. And then the month ahead, what have we got in our month ahead? Well, we've got Emily Banks. She's our guest up next, and we also have Annie Holden. Now, kind of similar, yet different. So Emily works in acne and eczema. That's her niche area, and she's actually created some products which soon will be launched to the world. And then we've got Annie Holden, who is the creator of Founders Formula, which is also a skin formula, or lots of formulas. It's an entire range for skin, but not specifically for acne and eczema, but using Australian. She's an anthropologist, and so she's using all the Australian, what are they called? Like your pepperberry and all of the botanicals. Goodness gracious, what a morning. It's time for me to stop talking, I think. And when I can't remember the word botanicals, it's time to take a break. So on that note, I look forward to hopefully seeing you in the Academy, but I certainly look forward to seeing you the month ahead in the podcast, in Mentoring with Geraldine and the Bite Size podcast. So lovely chatting, and I hope you have an absolutely excellent rest of day. See ya. Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast for the weekly episodes. If you'd like even more support and learning, then the Academy is for you. Here you'll find part 2 of the herbal discussions, more clinical learning, and case studies to support your clients in practice. Bye for now.